Well, hello and welcome to Joliet African American Business Association's third episode of the CEO Roundtable. This production, I must say, is produced by our partners, Rose to Eternity Media, where we are in their wonderful studio today, and I am super excited. I also want to make sure we thank the production team that makes this thing very possible for people to tune in and to get this level of information. We are excited, for one, about this episode because we have wonderful CEOs, but this this topic tonight is actually one of the topics that most of the viewers have asked us to bring CEOs on to discuss. And so tonight, because they've asked us, we're here and we're going to be talking about viral marketing, advertisement, and social media. We have two phenomenal CEOs with us in the studio tonight, and I'm going to introduce them to you right this moment. We have Jacqueline Horbrook, CEO of Black Christian Influencers. Their mission is to support individuals that make an impact in the world. She has 95,000 Instagram followers. We are really, really excited to have you and welcome you to the CEO Roundtable, Jacqueline Horbrook.
Thank you.
We also have Joyce, who is the CEO of Black People Eats. Their mission is to connect people to Black-owned food and beverage companies everywhere. 160,000 Instagram followers, and the crowd is going wild. We are not going to take too much time because we have so much information that we want to make sure that we get out on this very short time that we have. I must say, I have to thank you all, the viewers, the people that have tuned in time and time again, episode after episode, to really learn from these dynamic CEOs. Now, I must start with giving an opportunity for our CEOs to tell us their story, tell us a little bit about themselves. I will go ahead and start with Jacqueline, and then I will go to Jeremy. Jacqueline, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started.
Yeah, so I actually go by Jackie the Educator on social media, but it actually came because I started as an educator. A lot of my background, my education, my master's degrees from DePaul are all for education and counseling. And so that's what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. I ended up going and working at a university for a while as the director of diversity. And I really was set with where I was as an education professional. But as I was doing that, there was just, I guess, something else that God had for me. And so life changed and a lot of things moved around, and I had the opportunity to basically just start something that I've never seen before. Wow. And so I started this organization while I was actually building an actual counseling center for the West Englewood area of Chicago. And I honestly am excited because that was just so big to me. I thought that was going to be the thing that really blew up, but this thing that I started in my spare time, BCI, was actually the thing that was proven to be the most fruitful. And so when I started BCI, Black Christian Influencers, it was honestly just an idea that I had to just bring people together. I just wanted people to connect, work together and build. And, when I started hearing people have conversations about things that they needed, things they were dealing with as an influencer, not knowing how to grow, not having the right connections, and not knowing what to do sometimes, I really just saw an opportunity to build something that would help, especially the kingdom as well as people of color. And so I built the organization and started creating a membership, and we now have a little bit over 1,000 members, which is really cool. And they all work in a lot of capacities, from doctors to attorneys to, influencers, all different types of things they do, but they all are looking to improve their social presence. And so we really try to highlight them with our app and, a lot of our events that we host, but also really giving them information that will help them to continue to grow on and offline. So a lot of the things you see is the likes and the comments are good, but we're really focusing on substance. And so a lot of that is translating into what we're building outside of the actual social world. So that's how it came about, and all the things to come is really exciting. But yeah, that's the story.
Jacqueline, Jackie, we're not ready. We're not ready for you, but we're going to try really hard. 1,000 memberships. My goodness. Yeah. We'll have to talk about how in the world you got from 0 to 1,000 members. We'll get to that. Jeremy, tell us your story and how you got started.
I don't even know if I can go after her. I mean, come on. She was good. You know, ladies supposed to go first, but I think I might have been first so she could hit him in the bank. But honestly, Dr. Parker, for me, you know, for everybody who knows me, you know, I loved corporate finance, right? I really wanted to be downtown with the skinny suits, all that stuff. I got it, but deep down inside, the first day I walked into that office, I knew this wasn't it. Like, I knew it. It was self-fulfilling, but it wasn't purpose fulfilling. So I was in corporate trying to get these different positions, working in portfolios, dealing with all these $1 million budgets, and I couldn't get it. And I remember the second year I tried to get a job, it broke me because somebody that was on my team that sat across from me got the job and I didn't.
Wow.
And I remember, you know, how you go into that comparison. I was like, how could they get this? I get here on time. I'm nice. I dress better. I look better. I have more connections. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll never forget the day I called my mentor and he was like, it wasn't meant for you to have it. That same year I didn't get the job, the same year I experienced a bad breakup, was the same year I started my business. I went to a place called Italy, it's downtown Chicago, and I noticed people of color wasn't there. So I was like, I'm gonna record myself eating and just show it because I don't really see nobody do it. Let me just do it and see what happens. Long story short, I posted it. Started a personal blog. I noticed other blogs wasn't posting people of color. So then I said, well, black people eat too. I said, I'm going to highlight something that echoes the voice of the unheard in the black restaurant community because nobody posts them unless they're in white neighborhoods. Once I saw that, I said, I don't care about followers. I don't care about likes. I don't care about none of that. My goal is to be consistent and do this every day. Show people restaurants. That's all I care about. And if I can do this every day, if this does not win, if I don't do good in a year, I'll quit. That was my goal. I'm here. My business anniversary is 4 years and the Sunday, December 12th.
Wow.
So 4 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. And it's just been amazing, right? The consistency kept me. The authenticity helped me remain who I was. And emotional stability allowed me not to take anything personal when people, you know, spoke against what I did. So that's really how I started the business. You know, I found a solution to a problem that people wanted. And I said, I'm going to do this well. And that was my goal. Just do that every day.
Wow. Just a tremendous stories. And I'm just really so excited. And I want to make sure that I set this up the right way. I wanted to make sure first people knew who you were and the type of folks that we have in the studio today for the CEO Roundtable. But, you know, there was we had an overwhelming amount of people that were asking about marketing and how do we expand our brand? How do we be better at how we show and tell our stories and all those kind of things? And so this really, this segment is very, very important. And I wanted to take some time to really ask a few questions to really help just to start. How would you define marketing, Jackie? How would you define, let's just start there. How would you define marketing? And then we'll go on to another question on top of that question.
Yeah, I think it's just sharing things in a very tantalizing way. I say tantalizing because you have to be unique with marketing. And a lot of times the things that people find interesting, they don't do well at letting other people see why it's interesting. And so marketing is just basically sharing with people why something is valuable. And if you do marketing well, other people will see it and they'll want to be a part of it and do what you're doing and get what you're getting, right? But you definitely want to make sure it's stand out and just enticing to people.
Yeah, very good. Chairman.
How I would say it, marketing to me is the message that you push that you get from your brand. So the brand is the message that you create, but the marketing is the message that you push. So that's how I really define marketing. Because I know when we get branding, marketing, advertisement, a lot of people throw those words interchangeably. But to me, marketing is that message that you're pushing, that you generate from your brand. You know, that's how I define marketing. To my clients, to anybody that I work with.
Yeah, very good. So now, Jeremy, on top of that, how would you describe how marketing has aided to your success? So some of these businesses, a lot of businesses are going to be tuning in.
Mhm.
How can you kind of tell your story in terms of what you already shared in terms of marketing and how it has really been able to be a strong attribute to your success today?
Well, this is how I can tell everybody if you're watching, because we all start somewhere, right?
That's right. That's right.
This is how marketing has helped my business, right? Especially digital marketing. We were able to raise $100,000 in 2 weeks. This year on Juneteenth, our festival did $1 million in a day with no corporate backing, with no commercials, with no ads, just straight from the social media. So marketing allows you to collect a group of people who believes the message, that's now willing to go from consideration to awareness to consideration to now converting to actual community, clients, people who builds that brand trust, right? And I only believe you can do marketing well if you have branding down packed, right? Because you can have a good marketing message, but if your branding is trash, it won't work. But you can have a good brand, but if your marketing is bad, it won't work. They have to work together, right? We look at BCI, both. Black People Eats, both. And that's why I feel like the marketing works. A lot of people have an amazing brand, but the marketing is bad. You have to be able to articulate in a message so well that it emotionally pulls you. So when you see it, the emotions invoking you, you have to do it. You know, that's to me like marketing works.
Yeah.
I've never seen people react to posts, to products, the way marketing does, especially digital marketing. Digital marketing is able to create community through emotional connections, which builds brand loyalty, which builds trust, which builds love, which builds long-lasting customers.
Yeah, very good. Jackie,
That's
tell
good.
me, I mean, this is getting heating up here. How has marketing you really attributed to your success of BCI?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have found it because they were drawn to it some way, right? Because a friend sent it to them or someone told them about it, or maybe they just stumbled across it. But the difference between a platform that is growing and successful and one that maybe isn't is the ability to connect with the audiences. And you have to be authentic to do that. I feel like some people try to hold on to marketing efforts that worked 10 years ago, but are not even relevant today. They change constantly. And so that's why you have to be able to evolve with marketing, right? Because an ad may have worked, right? Where you standing in front of a camera talking about this is great, go get it. You know, that may have worked then, but now you have to be funny. You have to be entertaining. You have to try to get people to stop what they're doing and pay attention, right? And so that's the problem I feel like with people now and marketing efforts is that they don't know how to get people's attention. In a world where there are so many different ads and people doing things, it's like hard for you to think, what can I get? What can I do? Right? But I think what people need to understand is that naturalness wins. That's why influencers are so relevant now. Like people are relevant because they're natural. They're themselves, right? And that's why, you know, it's sometimes better to do things while you're walking down the street with the camera phone versus, you know, having the camcorder and everything perfect, right? But that's again something people are used to. And I think that's something we have to be very open to exploring and being different with our ideas of marketing.
Yeah. So now I have to drive this, right? I have to keep driving this here
Let's
you
do
guys
it.
are making me so curious. So, Jeremy, you talked about branding. Jackie, you talked about being natural and being what is authentic. I don't think people know what either one of those things really is. I think people, when they think about what's natural, they think about just being themselves. But what if you don't know who you are? What if you don't know, what if you don't know the actual brand? So I'm going to ask you, Jeremy, elaborate on what your perception is on branding. And then Jackie, please enlighten our viewers. When you talk about being natural and being, authentic, what is that? What does that really mean? Jeremy.
Branding to me is emotionally connecting to an audience, to a group of people, to anybody on a message that comes from your vision. And your vision comes from your purpose, and your purpose comes from God. That's my thing. The image, I cannot dominate on this earth if I don't know who I am. That's Like branding all boils down to authenticity. Authenticity boils down to your image. Your image boils down to being connected to God, right? And that's me. I probably say that. You know, I've been an atheist for years. All of my businesses failed until I served God. My clothing business, my boutique business, they did well, but they failed. This business did not start until I served God, because in the image of God we get our moral character and our spiritual nature. In the likeness we get our power and authority. And those 4 characteristics linked together allow us, men and women, to dominate the earth, to dominate the area that Jackie's been called to, that Jeremy's been called to, that Dr. Parker has been called to, right? So if I don't know who I am, how can I lead you? If you tell me, hey, let's go to the grocery store. If I don't know that the grocery store is down the street, how can I lead you to the grocery store? So unawareness of my image is unawareness of my destination.
That's right. That's right.
And unawareness of my destination, I can't lead anybody anywhere. I can't even lead myself. So what happens when I'm walking in a state of confusion, a state of not knowing, and I bring you on that journey with me? Now there's a group of walking paradox. That's why the branding is good. But before we get to the branding, we got to get to the core of the person. You know, because branding is nothing but the message. The message comes from the vision.
That's right.
Your vision comes from purpose, and your purpose comes from God.
That's it.
And the only way to know all of that is being connected to God.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing else to be said there. Spot on.
Preaching.
Love it. Preaching the message. So now, Jackie, talk to us about really being natural. How do you be natural? How do you take branding? How do you take marketing and be naturally cool with it?
I think, honestly, what people have to realize is that perfection can be your enemy. A lot of times we are trying too hard to be natural. And if you're trying too hard, then you're not going to be natural. That's like counterproductive. And so if you're really wanting to learn about being natural, I think you should really just observe yourself in moments where you're not trying to do anything, right? Those moments where you're just like talking to your kids or working on something with your job, right? Think about those times and try to use that same energy when you're doing something in front of a camera. I think for some reason when cameras turn on, people like get nervous or they start stiff, acting and get all in their head about it, when the reality is that you have to be natural to connect with people. And so practicing that is a good idea. And I think for me too, a lot of times I look at reality TV just for research purposes. I don't watch it normally, but
coming soon.
The
real life of Jackie.
Right. No. But the reality of it is that reality television took off because it showed people in natural environments, right? Talking at the store, walking in their home, picking up groceries, arguing with friends. The reason why, and I think The Real World was the first one I remember, right? The reason why it took off though is that people thought they were seeing something they weren't supposed to, which makes them want to watch more. So when you think about that and being natural, you want to try to find those things that look like you shouldn't actually be showing it to people. It's like, oh my God, I've never actually seen her in just a regular, t-shirt, right? She's normally all with a button up and, you got to shock people with something. And that's what I love about Jeremy. When he does things, he's always energetic and he has this amazing, energy. If you ever seen him taste food, it's like,
we did a video together and she explained it. I know Jackie, y'all. That's why we know.
We cool.
Yeah. Jackie did a video with me. But I wanted to say something she said was so powerful when you was talking about the perfection. And what I realized is I just watched a podcast, Jackie, and it said, Dr. Parker, even a computer cannot make a perfect circle.
Wow.
I said, and he said, perfection is only in our mind.
Yeah.
And social media has made perfection attainable.
Yeah.
Which is why people believe they can't appear perfect. And 48 Laws even teach it. 48 Laws of Power teach us never appear perfect. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mom, when she does her video, like Jackie always say, I'm just a little awkward, y'all. I'm letting y'all know. Like when she do that video, guess what happens when another mom watches
Yeah.
it?
Absolutely.
She
Powerful.
connects.
Mhm.
Imperfection is stopping people from going to the next
Yeah,
level.
Yeah.
And we can stay here for the next like
We sure
20
could.
minutes on this whole thing, because I really do think that a lot of people get caught up into really being the very best social media person, the very best at showing and appearing a certain way. They try so hard that they're failing.
Yeah.
And that leads me to the next question,
Mm.
which is why I think where we can really continue to help people in a large way. When I did some research around social media, business owners, other CEOs, you guys, your level of followership is humongous. Like, you all are a small minority. So many people have worked hard to get the numbers that you guys have. Help them out. Help them out. Help us all out to understand, what are you seeing that people are doing wrong out there? Like, what are the laughable things, or what are the no-nos that you're seeing that people are trying to do out there, and you're like, that's not how that should be going? Because people are watching, and they're going to know from you all that has been able to be really, really successful with this. What are they doing wrong out there? And I'll start with Jack, and I'll go to you, Jeremy.
Go ahead.
Okay. I know Jeremy
What are you
has a few.
saying?
Yeah, I'm think for me, the perfection thing is one. Like, they're over templating everything. They're creating flyers instead of creating content. There is a difference,
okay.
right? And so if you don't know the difference between content and promotion, you're probably going to fail at this.
Okay.
Everything should not be a promotion on your platform. If it is, you're failing, and you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, half my page right now is flyers. Yikes. Okay, that's one reason why it's probably not doing well. So you have to be a person who creates. Creating means you're going to create something that adds value. You're not going to promote an upcoming event, podcast, none of that. Like, that comes later on. Once you get to a level of following like Jeremy, you can promote stuff, right?
Right.
Like her too. Don't let her fool you. Like her too. Don't let her
But
fool you.
listen, you got to get to a place where you provide value first.
Yeah.
And that means you have to find things that people can relate to. That means you have to tell the story that they want to identify with. You need to give advice that they're going to want to share and come back to and listen to again. Add the value, and then you can start the promoting. But don't do the promoting before the value, because a lot of times you won't be successful online.
Now, Jackie, hold that thought, because I want you to talk more about content, because some
let's
people
get
do
into
not
it.
know what that is. But Jeremy, what are you seeing out there? What's wrong? How are we going to help people?
This is what I'll say. Two things. One, lack of image. People don't know who they are. They don't have a clear picture of who they are. That shows in your content.
Okay.
Because the vision is what I say. The vision is a funnel. And the vision is the funnel that you push your content through. So if my vision is bringing joy to the people's lives, how do I do that? By connecting in the Black-owned food and beverage companies everywhere. So when I post a picture, a video, no matter what it is, it has to be funneling through my mission, which ends up at my vision. So now, if Dr. Parker and Jackie is on my team and I post something, let's say I post a picture of me at the beach on Black People East, might be a dope picture, yeah. But then you should be able to call me and say, hey, that doesn't align with the vision.
Hey,
you need to
there you
take
go.
that off. I see too many people where their content doesn't align with the vision. So now I'm confused on what I'm posting or on what you're doing. Because I'm coming to you for food, but I see a beach picture. So now I'm confused. So unfollow. Because when I follow somebody, I'm saying I'm taking your journey with you to your vision, because I believe in it. So I'm following you to your vision. The moment they stop, I don't buy into it. Right. So a lack of vision creates a lack of clarity in content. And it creates confusion in people. That's one. Second one, people are not remarkable. Remarkable means to mark about. Right?
Yeah.
I always use the vision from a book I read called Purple Cow. Purple Cow, right? If we always walking, we saw a purple cow walking here, we are gonna call somebody and say, yo, you gonna call your wife, Jackie might call her kids. I don't know who I'm gonna call. I'm like, yo, I'm looking at a purple cow, right? It's remarkable, right? That makes us wanna mark, to talk about it. Now if we see 10 cows, okay, but we see 100, now it's normal. So what was remarkable is normal. Remarkable means to create something that causes people to talk about it, to advertise for you. we don't create remarkabilities. People haven't found a purple cow. What they see is Jackie's cow, and they try to imitate her cow. So now you're trying to create a remarkability off somebody else. So because we haven't called something that's remarkable, we can't build high value relationships. Because we haven't built that, we can't build emotional connections.
Yeah.
Because we can't build that, we don't have trust with community. Because we don't have trust, we don't have love and vulnerability. Because we don't have those, we don't have paid customers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So remarkability translates
Yeah.
to the end consumer.
Yeah.
And if we don't know how to be remarkable, people will not mark about our business. So people are not creating unique, remarkable things in the market delivered consistently that's truly theirs. And because it's not, they're failing. Those are my two things that I see with people. No vision and no remarkability.
Yeah.
Remarkability has nothing to do with numbers. It has everything to do with message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brand, it has everything to do with your product, your service, what you offer. BCI, Purple Cow. Black People East, Purple Cow.
Yeah.
These are things that when people see her, just like I saw her in the airport. See, she don't know. I saw her in the airport at a conference in Atlanta. I said, aren't you the girl who, I did this house? Like, ain't you the girl who do this? That's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
When she saw, you the guy who do the food. Remarkability.
Yeah.
It causes people to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Remarkability is the key.
Yeah.
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 If you want to be successful in your church, in your business, in your life, you be remarkable.
Yeah, I love it. I think we can package
That's
this
good.
and like make 1 million of these copies and go platinum. But but I want to make sure that we don't leave content behind.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what and how to make how to put content in its rightful place. Sometimes we put flyer advertisement in this place and we make that a dominant or a mainstay.
Yeah.
But content is so important.
You are right.
And then sometimes people don't even know how much content, or is it too much content? Is that like too much or is not enough? So let's just start with the discussion on content and what is it and how could the viewers gauge on if they're doing it right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right.
Go ahead, sis. Man, y'all just get ready for this. Y'all better get y'all pens and pads. Get ready. Go ahead, Jackie.
I need to get this out because I always have people sending me stuff like, oh, can you share this? Can you share this? Can you share this? And again, the reason why our platform has grown to the place where it is because we share remarkability, right? We share that the remarkable content. Now, when you think about content that is going to stand out, you need to make sure that it's actually things that you would want to stop and listen to.
Oh,
I
man,
think we sometimes talk and don't listen to ourselves. If you would scroll past like something like that, look at your content and think, would I stop? Would I stop and give myself 5 seconds to continue to listen to this if I wasn't me? You know? And you have to really put that in perspective because that's going to be something that helps you to kind of gauge what's good and what's bad, right? Think about what's going to stand out when you're scrolling. Is the background going to give you any type of difference between what everybody else is doing? Is your clothing, your what you're wearing, right? My statement is glasses. I always do something with my glasses, whether they're red or pink or green or chain. It's something, it's my statement, right? It makes me stand out. What you need to do is find what's going to make your content stand out so that people, when they see it, it's like, that's this, that's so-and-so, that's that brand, that's what that is, right? Find something that's going to make you stand out. And then don't be afraid to use trends to gain momentum, right? And when I say this, people think, I don't want to copy off everybody else. It's not about copying. It's about using the data. Okay. I'm a book numbers person. I follow data. And in algorithms, trending sounds, trending images, trending movements, that's what the computer picks up. You're looking at a computer software, right? It's an algorithm. It's not a person saying no, yes, no, yes. It's a computer that recognizes patterns. And so when you have a pattern that's currently being done in a lot of different places, that's one where you want to try to capitalize on it. And so I noticed even on Jeremy's video, sometimes he'll have like a music in the background that you probably have been hearing in other places, right? And that is something that will get your content momentum, because now the algorithm is going to be like, oh yeah, that is popular now. People just love that for some reason. So now I'm going to give that more reach than other things. You really have to study. And I know this is going to sound really superficial, because for some reason people think social media can be superficial. I get it. People have made it to be that way. You have people online that are vain and doing things the wrong way. But if you use it the right way, who cares what they're doing with it? Right? And so I think we have to try to study what is working and use it and make it our own. Make it your own. The content, the trends, work it so that it's sharing the message that you want. Don't be someone who's saying, well, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing because I'm not like everybody. Okay, that's good and all, but do you want to like do what's going to get you to get actual growth, right? You sometimes have to follow the trends a little bit to be able to grow. And honestly, I'm not telling you to not be authentic or yourself, because you can do it and still connect with content and trends. But you definitely want to make sure you're paying attention to what's happening in the world. That's why I said study. Study the content, study other platforms, pages that are doing really well in your area. Make sure you're actually looking at what's going on and try to make something that will begin to be your own, similar, to get that same growth. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Jeremy, I'm going to put a spin to this one, because I think that sometimes people don't know, is content literature? Is it what you type in words on social media? Can your content be a video? Can it be a podcast? What is in the podcast? Like, just explain the literal part of what content is, so that way people understand that it may not just be me sharing an article. It could be something much more. Content is your brand message expressed creatively. That's, I love it, kind of how I would put it. Yeah. Because let's be honest, content for me is video. I love video. I'm energetic, outgoing. Nobody's finna outshine me no video. Now writing, I don't really like writing like that. Writing is not my thing. So for you, it could be literature. For somebody, it could be a clip of a podcast. I know earlier we was talking about breaking the podcast up. If you got an hour-long podcast, break it up into 10-minute segments, right? 25-minute segment, right? 42.5-minute segment, right? 80 a minute and 20 seconds. So now you got content for 3.5 months. Content can be anything that you express creatively from your brand message. What I think a lot of people do is they see what Jackie does or what Jeremy does or what Dr. Parker does, and they try to mimic that. Your brand, you have to create something that's for you. You have to know what is for your community, right? For food, I can post 10 times a day. Will you ever get tired of looking at food? Never will get tired of that. Now. Post right now. Right. Jackie, no, who's going to get tired of looking at food all day? Right. Nobody. But now, let's say if I posted 10 clips of me doing speaking, you would get irritated about it. No matter how good it is. You don't want to see 10 clips of me speaking in one day. It's too overwhelming. Consistency, and I had to learn this. Consistency is not every day. Consistency is what's consistent to your audience. That's right. You go. I love it. Example, there are some people who only need to go on 3 dates a week. There are some people who you need to take them out every day. There's some people, they okay with once a week. You got to find the person who's in alignment with what you want. And that's how you create a love relationship, right? You can't try to do a daily post when it's a community who only read it 3 times a week. You have to know what the industry of education is, the industry of food is, the industry of tech, right? The industry. That's right. And who are you talking to? Are you talking to entrepreneurs? Are you talking to people who work jobs? Because you talking to people who work jobs, morning posts are not going to work for you. You know, post in the evening is going to work for you. So that's really how you do it. You create content. It's really just by being yourself. God created us to be creative. Creativity is an innate ability that's in each human. God the creator created us to be creative. So content is really you creating. And earlier I know we was talking about it, but I heard somebody say this and I'll never forget it. It said the foundation of creation is nothing. The fact that we have nothing, that is the principle, the blueprint for us to create. I love it. The blueprint for us to create is having nothing. Oh my,
there's no people who gather Black Christian influencers together, I'm gonna
Create it.
Yeah.
create it.
Yeah.
There's nobody who's gathering Black restaurants together, I will create it.
That's it.
And then I'm gonna consistently deliver it, and I'm gonna get creative in my message. The message stays the same. The only thing that changes is the package.
Yeah.
Very good. So here's the challenge now. The challenge is you all have been able to really load a lot of information in this short amount of time. People want to know, where do we start? Where do we start from? I mean, you talked about literally the creativity is literally a blank slate. It's a white piece of paper, and then you're able to make something happen. But what happens when you see a white piece of paper? Where do you go from there? I'll start with Jeremy, and then I'll end with you, Jackie, on this one.
Very good question. I love good questions. Dr. Parker, the OG, let me tell you that man is genius. Where do you start? You just throw yourself out there, and you got to be okay with looking bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to
be
be comfortable with losing, with not achieving, with failing. You got to fall in love with failing. What I'm doing now that I did not do 4 years ago when I first started. My editing was trash. I looked at it in my first video the other day. It was crappy. But guess what? That led me to here. It's kind of like, in finance. We got to compound the interest.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Why am I trying to get a 30% payout when I can do a 30% payout by doing 1% every day?
Yeah.
We're trying to do the buyout. You look at the clean piece of paper, right? You say, okay, I want to show everybody that eating clean is wonderful. So what I do is I'm gonna say, okay, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna start cooking at home. I'm gonna show people that I can get clean meals under $20.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna record me going to the grocery store, and I'm gonna cook some of my favorite dishes, and I'm gonna show you guys, and I'm gonna just do it. Boom. Right? You just say, how can I do it? That's me. Then I say, okay, you know what? If you tell me what you like to eat, and then I can show you, I can create it clean. It builds up, but you just start. You got to be okay with putting something out there and people saying that was trash, that was terrible, that was bad. You got to be okay with that. People aren't scared to start. People are scared for the failure. If you struggle with that, you need to watch. Everybody should watch Doctor Strange, because the one lady said the reason you succeeded, not because you're good, because you didn't want to fail. We don't want to look bad in front of people, because looking bad in our mind seems like we're less than.
Yeah.
So we got to get comfortable with it's in there. You just got to put it out there to say, I'm okay with this not being good the first round. The first Jordan shoe wasn't good. The first car made wasn't good. The first everything wasn't good. It has to progress.
Yeah. It's interesting. Could it be true that really marketing involves really the first step is taking a leap of faith? I mean, isn't that something that really,
don't get me going now.
leap of faith will really, you roll over one day and you have 100,000 followers because of a leap of faith.
Absolutely.
Jackie, and don't be afraid, Jackie, to tell your story as well. But talk to us about where should our viewers start?
I think what you have to do is test and get eyes on it. I think a lot of times we don't ask people for honest opinions. We just keep creating and it's not working, and we never really get feedback. And honestly, constructive feedback is going to help you. Jeremy, when I got started, he would consistently tell me things to help me, right? And I would help him. I would give him feedback. You have to have people around you that will tell you the truth, to be like, yeah, I didn't even understand that. Like when you first came on, I was a little bored, so actually I clicked off. Like some things like that, you really need to hear so that you can change it, right? I used to, when I first started my own personal page, Jackie the Educator, I used to always test it out on I had a separate page, was just like my family and friends, right? And so before I posted it on my real page, I posted it on that page to get reactions. And I tested it out to see okay, what would they respond to? What would they laugh at? What would they naturally just say something to, right? And then sometimes I would post things, it would be nothing. And when I did post things and they responded, I was like, okay, so that was good. And it literally mimicked the success. So we have to test it out and you have to get feedback. That's how you're going to grow and develop. And for me, I didn't start off as an influencer. I was an educator, right? And And so I'm a nerd today, and I was a nerd then, but I learned how to study things, right? That was something I was always good at. And I studied how to be effective at social media. And what you need to do is study how your content is going to be effective. And so that's why I love what we do. We start off by even giving each person a profile assessment. We tell you like exactly what's going on with your platform, what you're doing well, what you're doing bad, you know, how you can improve upon it. And then every month we kind of help people to grow with their content, right? And so that's what you need. You need somebody who's going to tell you like, no, that's not going to work. People don't like looking at long videos. Honestly, it's a little boring. You're not really doing anything exciting. You're being a little stiff. All of those things you need to hear so that you can really start to grow. I needed to hear it. I still need to hear it to this day, and it's helped me.
You know, it's crazy, Dr. Parker. And you got to also be around people. If we're trying to grow a garden, we need to go somebody who has a garden, not somebody who's trying to grow. Here's the thing. Equally, I've told Jackie, like, hey, I did this worked. Try it. It worked for her. Hey, I remember one time I was driving, and I called her and I was like, she was telling me something. I was like, yo, do this to free up your time. Time's freed up. I remember I showed her about this DM thing. She did it. Then she even came back to me. She's like, hey, you should add this to build your personal brand. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. Then I added it. Now my personal brand was built because I noticed what I showed her. She took it and multiplied it to where her business and her personal brand grew. But then she turned around and said, okay, we should do this. When you are connected to people in business, right, and whatever you do, when I learn something, she learns it. Because we're on the same team. So when I learn it, she learns it because I'm going to take what was input to me, give it to her. What she learns, I learn. If I meet with Oprah, she meets with Oprah. If I meet with a billionaire, she meets with a billionaire. When I was at the Million House in Phoenix, she was there. Because when I'm there, I'm pouring that information to her. Well, that's why you also got to get around people who can help you flourish the garden that you're trying to grow. A part of creating something from nothing is being around somebody who has created something. Serve them, submit to them. I submitted to my mentor 8 years before I built a business. I seen him run a business for 8 years. See, people are not willing to get on the ground and be dirty so Jackie's shoes can stay clean, so her business get to shine, and I never ask for the credit. See, we got to get comfortable with serving somebody else. If you really want to be successful, serve somebody else before you build.
That's an amazing point.
Go pick up the bucket that brings the dirt to the building before you try to build it. Come to Jackie and say, hey, how can I serve you, right? Because true submission is submission, below purpose. It's submitting to the vision of the business. So if I want to submit, if I learn how to submit to the vision, I learn how to submit to authority. If I can submit to authority, I'll know how to create a vision so other people will submit to the vision that God gives me that I funnel through my team and we carry out together. It's important that we are around people and we learn how to serve before we try to create. That's the problem. People want to create because deep down inside they arrogant and they nobody want them to tell them nobody to do nothing. Serve before you try to build.
And Jeremy, this next question really goes to exactly where you were talking about, and that is, really, we're going to talk about how you measure success. Sometimes if you are not, and I want to put this disclaimer out there, if you are not one that's willing to receive constructive criticism, you don't value powerful relationships or true relationships, it's very difficult for you to be in a position to really adhere to or to be able to put something in place so you can measure your success. Now, most people may or may not know that by day I'm a commercial banker. And when I work with a lot of business owners to find out where they're at and to see if there's funding available. Most of the time I run into people that just don't know how to measure success for themselves. What they do is they rely on other people to measure their success. And what end up happening is when you don't have proper measurements in place, you could be drowning and you don't even know it. How can you, and I'll start with you, Jackie, and go to Jeremy, how do you measure true success in marketing? How do you measure it?
And let me tell you this, it's not in likes and comments and views. That is not it.
Say that one more time, Jackie.
It is not in the likes, comments, and views.
They gonna hate you. They gonna hate our sister to say this. We just blew all y'all. She just blew all y'all up.
It's not there. Like, honestly, you have to create something that pulls people off of social media.
Wow.
Now, don't tell Mark or whoever they are in Facebook. Like, but the goal is not to get them to stay on your page or your platform. It's for them to want to come and learn more about you so you can consistently interact with them, right? So the goal for you on a platform is probably to get their email address so that you can regularly communicate with them, put them in the funnel of becoming a member or a client or whatever you're doing, product that you're selling, right? So you have to get them from social media in a consistent form of content. And that's what I believe is measurable success on social media, right? So for me, the fact now that I can do this full time and I can work and do and help people is what I love. And now I feel like this is successful. Not that I have 95K. Like, that doesn't matter. If I have 95K and I'm not seeing anything from it, it means nothing. So you really want to make sure you're actually pulling people from social media into your real life business.
Yeah, very good. Jeremy, you're up.
For me, what I learned, success is my individual goals that I've set for myself.
That's it. That's it.
But I focused on that because starting in corporate, I was arrogant and I cared about it. Right now, I don't care about that anymore. I focus on significance. Success is you. Significance is others.
That's good.
It's impacting legacy on other people that infuses in their lives. So when I'm going, I know that I changed the life. So how I measure it, success is easy. You can just set a goal and say, hey, I want to do $1 million in a day. I want to do 10 million a month. And you achieve it. You're successful. Success is what you set in the aim that you mark. Success to me when I first started was just 10,000 followers and getting paid to eat. I did it in 10 months and then I was lost. Success is really nothing but achievable goals that you set to hit. Targets that you hit. What do you do when you hit the target and you go home and you're still miserable? You can hit a target and still be miserable. I hit goals and still was miserable. It wasn't until I understand the power of John Maxwell talks about success versus significance. Significance taught me it's about others. So
that's it.
I care about significance. When we raised 100,000, a penny didn't go to me. When we did the $1 million in a day, a penny didn't go to me. When we raised the 20,000, a penny didn't go to me. I care about that.
Yeah.
I don't care about the goals, the objective. I can care less about that anymore. I measure it through significance. And significance to me is empowering my vision on other people. So that when I leave this earth, the legacy that I created is infused to other people's lives. And then they go further than me. I want you to go further than me.
That's good.
You know.
Now, Jeremy, the time is getting the best of us, but it's okay because we are going to end on a very, very high note. I have two more questions I got to get out on the floor, and we'll probably have to invite you guys back again because we there's so much more to cover.
We'll definitely come back.
There are some numbers people that's watching. They believe that the hoopla, the talks, the stuff that we share with today is things that is a feel good. But some of the people are going to say, show me the money. How much should people be spending on social media marketing or marketing advertisement? What is the algorithm? What is the amount of money people should be spending? I know one time I went to some conference and they said that 10% of the budget should be on technology or should be on media and marketing. What is your thoughts around the numbers game, around how much people should be spending on creative content, on design? How much money should be spending in that area? Jackie and then Jeremy.
Go ahead.
I'll say for me, I started BCI with zero money, nothing. All I had was a free page and my free apps that I used to create content and ads popped up in between. You don't need, for someone who has like a budget, great. You can probably get people to hire and help you and all that good stuff, but you don't need it. And honestly, you probably will be more effective without it. Because if you can learn how to grow and get people's attention without adding dollars behind it and without putting in this extra big, like production, you will find success a lot easier as you continue to grow, right? Now I can add a little bit more every now and then, but I don't need it. I still have my free apps that I use for my platform, right? And that helps. So please, I want people to know that you don't need to have a budget for it. All you really do, you need to just have creativity and be able to study. If you can study what other people are doing, be humble enough to look at other content to see why it's doing what it's doing. Don't judge it all the time. Everybody wants to be quick to judge, to be like, oh, that's probably not even worth my time. That's superficial. Why are they on social media all the time? Wait and see, because a lot of these people that you see on social media all the time are making $4,000 or $5,000 a post. They're being paid to post now. We are being paid to post for things. It's money here. It is a lot of opportunity.
Thousands of dollars. She humble. Thousands of dollars.
For one post, right?
Wow,
and you can get there. It's achievable without a big budget. You don't even have to have it, honestly.
Wow, Jeremy.
For the numbers people, because I was in finance, you want to be have a technical answer, here it goes. 10%, according to the article that I read, 10% of your budget should be to advertisement, 2 to 5% digital advertising. But guess what? Okay, that's good. Yes, I'm all for that. I built the platform Black People Eats with no advertisement.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said, God, if you build my platform organically, I'll train others how to do it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prove that you can do it without it.
Yes.
You don't need the budget, like Jackie said. You don't need it. The problem is we've been conditioned that you have to do it. When I worked on a campaign with Discover, our campaign from social media did better than a commercial.
Wow.
They gave me the numbers in a meeting.
Wow.
It reached more people.
Wow. That's so huge.
Think about this.
Wow.
My platform alone does about 1.2 million views a month. It's TV, it's stations that can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of people try to downplay it, but I challenged them. I saw a post article the other day. Nokia and Apple, and Nokia was worth more than Apple. I believe it was 2001. It was like, let's say 180 billion, and then let's say like 60. Now Apple's worth, like, I think it was some trillion, and the Nokia was worth like 40 million. It was low.
Yeah.
Stay with the times. So what happens when you look at the video villages? They could have created the Netflix. They didn't because they didn't stay it. Your message, an authentic message will beat the advertising dollars.
Absolutely.
An authentic message, the advertising dollars just pushes the message. So I challenge people, create meaningful campaigns, create meaningful messages, and do it well. Then dump some dollars. If I dumped advertising dollars in my platform right now, I would crush it. I just don't. I know how to do it. I trained my client how to do it, and her orders was doing so good, she had to stop.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful.
You know, but 2 to 5%, but you don't need to.
Can I say one business owners, do me a favor and become your own influencer. Jeremy owns his business and he is his own face of his business, right? Which means that he don't have to pay nobody to wear his t-shirt or to promote his brand because he can do it himself. That's what I've learned, is that a lot of businesses, the reason why you need a budget is because you can't become your own influencer. You don't want to be in front of the camera. You don't want to do things. Well, in that case, you will need to get a budget because you're going to have to pay people like me and Jeremy to share what you're doing.
That's right.
Or you can become your own influencer. And that, I believe, is how you're going to be able to grow quicker and become successful on top of like these big brands that now have to pay us to promote their stuff. You know,
people want you to do what they'd never do for themselves.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to pay for you valet, but you don't pay for valet when you go out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you know what? I love food. We talked about food before I even built Black People Eats. So if I'm doing it already, that's just going to do nothing but make other people do it. People buy into what you do because you do it. So if you're not influencing yourself, they're not going.
That's it.
You can have advertising dollars and still fail. The Wright brothers is a great example. They built the airplane when the people down the street had all the money. You can have the funding and still fail.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. I have to ask you guys in 10 seconds to give this response. We're at the end of our time. As CEO, name one thing you will do next year that will help shape your business success. One thing next year. One thing next year, 10 seconds that you will do next year that will shape your business success?
I think for me, it's really to continue to scale our platform and develop other companies that want to grow brands like mine, right? I feel like what we've done is great, but it won't become like, I guess, monumental until we teach more businesses how to grow and become influencers. So I think with that, we're going to have more trainings, more conferences coming up, a lot more in-person opportunities to learn from each other. So that'll be my thing.
Good. Jeremy,
build systems and find my replacement.
That's it.
System creates scalability, and replacement allows you to focus on something else.
That's it. Very well. Listen, this has been my complete honor to really have some time to be able to moderate this discussion. I took a lot of copious notes, and I'm so glad that I have a family business and I'm going to be able to go back and take this information and watch our business grow. I want to take this time to thank our viewers, the people that took the time to watch tonight's CEO Roundtable. I know that the information was so impactful. Make sure that you take the time to be able to let us know in the comments how much helpful this CEO Roundtable event was to you. And I promise you, we're going to get these two phenomenal experts back into the room. We're going to learn the next step of how we're going to be even more remarkable. And we're going to especially learn how we can be a self-owned influencer and then take our business to the next level and not have to pass it off to someone else. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much, ABA, African American Business Association. Thank you so much, Joliet Chamber. And certainly thank you to our media production partners for this awesome time. This has, again, been extremely phenomenal. Please stay tuned. We have so much more up ahead. Continue to watch our page, continue to follow our page, and be prepared for episode 4. With that, our time is up. Thank you so much. You all have a good evening. Thank you for this time.